You don't need to feel brave before you begin. You begin, and that's how you become brave. I know you're scared. I know the fear feels massive, but so what? Fear doesn't mean stop. It means pay attention. It means you're standing on the edge of something real, something that actually matters. You think fear means you're not ready, but what if it means you are? Because you don't fear what doesn't matter. You don't shake when the stakes are low. You shake when what you're reaching for matters to you deeply. So feel the shake. Let the lump rise in your throat. Let the butterflies swirl in your stomach. And then move. Not recklessly, not blindly, but openly, boldly, honestly. Because even if you trip, even if you fall flat in front of everyone, even if you totally mess it up, you still moved. And that puts you ahead of every perfect plan still collecting dust in someone's someday folder. Action is the line between fantasy and reality. It's the bridge. And yeah, the bridge might shake, but it holds. It always holds. You just have to step on it. This is your permission slip, not to be perfect, not to be fearless, but to start scared. Start with no followers. Start with trembling hands and no clear plan. Start with nothing but the decision to figure it out as you go. That's not reckless. That's real. That's brave. That's how you build something that matters. So go. Go while shaking. Go while sweating. Go while doubting. Go before you feel like the kind of person who does this. Because the only way to become that person is to become that person. There's a story I once heard, and I don't care if it's factually accurate because the lesson hits. A man finds a cocoon. Inside, a butterfly is struggling, fighting to break free. Wanting to help, the man carefully cuts the cocoon open. The butterfly slides out effortlessly, but something's wrong. Its wings are small, deformed, wet, useless. It never flies. Because the struggle, that brutal, exhausting fight, that's what strengthens the wings. That pressure is what forces the blood into them, what transforms a squirming insect into something that can soar. And by skipping the pain, the man stole the strength. He meant well, but he interrupted the process, and that ruined everything. When I first heard that, I froze, because I realized I've been that butterfly. And maybe so have you. Maybe you've been begging life to make it easier, to take away the friction, to skip the fear, to fast forward past the uncertainty. But what if the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that gives you wings? What if the pain is the point? What if the pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation? Suddenly all those hard moments start to look different. The rejection, the delay, the embarrassment, the failure. What if they were your cocoon shaping you into someone strong enough to fly? Everyone wants the breakthrough, but can you carry it? Can you hold what's waiting on the other side? Because flying is beautiful, but flying takes strength, and strength doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from the fight, from discomfort, from being in the dark, pushing against invisible walls, unsure if they'll ever move, and still whispering, "Not today, I'm not done, I'm not staying here." That's where growth happens. That's where the work begins. And no one claps for that moment. No one sees it. It's silent, hidden, easy to quit, but you keep going. And that's when the wings form. That's the blood rushing in. That's not just growth, that's transformation. So sure, you could wish it were easier. You could wait for someone to rescue you. You could hope someone opens the door, clears the path, hands you permission, but just know there's a cost to being rescued. There's a price to skipping the struggle. You might get out faster, but you won't get out stronger. And what's the point of getting free if you can't fly once you're out? Stop resenting the hard. Stop avoiding the stretch. Lean into it. Welcome it. Say, okay, this hurts, but maybe it's holy. Maybe it's shaping me. Maybe it's building something I'll need when I get to the next level. that shift in mindset, that tiny reframe, it turns breakdowns into blueprints. It turns fear into focus. It turns pain into fuel. You're not weak for struggling. You're not broken because it hurts. You're becoming, and wings don't grow in comfort. They grow in resistance, in tension, in fight. So no, you're not doing it wrong. You're just in the cocoon, and something wild is forming. Fear's been running the show for long enough, don't you think? Like an overpaid manager who never gets results but keeps getting promoted. And we just keep listening, taking orders, shrinking ourselves on command. Fear says, be careful, be small, stay where it's safe, let someone else go first. And we call that wisdom, but it's not. It's control. Fear doesn't want you to be smart. It wants you to be still. Because stillness is safe. Stillness is predictable. Stillness is comfortable. But stillness is also where dreams go to die. So let me ask you, aren't you tired of bowing to it? Of living your life by rules written by anxiety? Of checking in with fear like it's your emotional parole officer? Hey, fear, is it okay if I show up today? Hey, fear, should I try this thing I really want? Hey, fear, can I live? What are we doing? You don't need fear's permission. You don't need to run every idea through the filter of your worst case scenarios. You need to move, not because the fear is gone, but because you're done letting it sit at the head of the table. You stand up, you take the mic, and you say, I hear you, but I'm going anyway. Yeah, fear will still yell, still throw tantrums like a toddler in the cereal aisle, but you go anyway, because courage isn't calm. It's loud. It's messy. It's shaky hands and wild heartbeats. It's saying, I know this might fall apart, but I'm doing it anyway. I know people might laugh, but I'm doing it anyway. I don't feel ready, but I'm doing it anyway. That's not the absence of fear. That's power. That's refusing to obey fear. You think bravery feels steady. Bravery feels like chaos, like jumping into ice water, like hitting send on something you wrote with your whole soul, like speaking up when your voice might crack. Bravery is messy, but it moves. And movement changes things. Every time you choose motion over paralysis, you rewire your brain. You loosen fear's grip. You remind both fear and yourself who's really in charge. So no, fear won't disappear. But you don't have to treat it like gospel. Fear isn't your compass. It's a smoke alarm. It goes off at everything. But that doesn't mean the house is on fire. It just means you're near something that matters. So when the alarm blares, don't run, don't hide, smile. You've found your edge. Now step into it. Even if it's messy, even if it's awkward, even if you don't feel ready. You moved. You stepped into the arena. And that makes you someone new. Because growth isn't something you plan. It's something you earn. Through sweat, through fire, through uncomfortable action before the comfort arrives. That's what separates dreamers from doers. So if you're scared, good. That means it's real. That means it's worth it. That means it's time. There comes a moment, and maybe this is it, where you stop negotiating with your potential, where you stop offering it scraps of energy, where you stop showing up halfway to your own life like a guest in your own story. There comes a moment where you draw a line in the sand. No more. No more waiting for perfect timing. No more making your hesitation sound poetic. No more loyalty to the version of you that's just trying to survive. When deep down you know you were built to rise, not for the fake, glossy kind of success, but for the version of life that wakes you up at night, the one you're scared to admit you want, the one that feels too bold, too far, too wild, but it's yours, and it's calling. This moment, this line in the sand, is not a cute idea, not a sticky note affirmation. It's a decision to stop waiting to feel like the person you want to be and just become them. Right here, right now. with what you've got. Even if it's just shaky hands and wild dreams, bring it. Because this isn't the end of the video. It's the beginning of everything. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not unqualified. You're ready, not because the fear left, but because you stopped waiting for it to leave. You weren't built for beige. You weren't made for maybe later. You were made to move, to lead, to become. This is your moment. Step over the line and don't look back.